Conquest is Smite's premier game mode. Hi-Res designs and balances Smite around this game mode. It is the place where Smite's vast number of gods, items, monsters, strategies, teamwork, and mechanics come together that make this game so stimulating, fun, and engaging. Because there's so much content and possibilities in this game, it would be impossible to cover everything in one video. So I'm making a very quick summary of the game mode for you to get started with. Here we go. Conquest is a 5v5 game mode where the objective is to kill the enemy Titan, which is guarded by 2 towers and a Phoenix in each of its 3 lanes. There are 3 lanes in Conquest: solo, mid, and duo. The solo lane is traditionally occupied by a warrior, someone who is tanky and can sustain a long time in lane without having to return to base often. The mid lane is traditionally occupied by a mage, someone who does a lot of magical area damage in the game. The duo lane is traditionally occupied by the carry and a guardian. The carry, or ADC, short for attack damage carry, is traditionally a hunter or a mage whose primary damage type comes from basic attacks. The jungle is every area outside of the 3 lanes mentioned before. Inside of the jungle are monsters that give XP, gold, and buffs. Generally, it is the jungler's job to clear these camps for his team to get the buffs and for him to get XP and gold. There are 3 phases of a game of Conquest: the laning phase, the mid game, and the late game. During the laning phase, players generally play in their lane getting XP and gold from killing minions and opponents. The jungler generally gets XP and gold from clearing the jungle camps and killing any opponents that are out of position. The team that gets the most farm during this phase typically has a stronger mid game. Therefore, the focus of the laning phase is to maximize farm. For solo, the laning phase typically means clearing wave and dealing as much damage to the opponent as possible, pushing them and your wave under their tower. Doing this will allow you to freely destroy the Totem of Coup, which gives your team gold, movement speed, and an MP5 buff. For the duo lane, the support and carry work together to clear the lane minions, the XP harpy, and the purple buff. At about level 5, or when the support gets boots, the support normally rotates to help the mid laner secure farm around the middle lane. During the laning phase, the mid laner maximizes farm by clearing their own wave, clearing the XP harpy camps around middle lane, oftentimes splitting them with the jungler. Because there is a lot of farm around mid and the most access to the side lanes, the support will often rotate to farm with the mid laner. The jungler starts the game at the speed buff because it allows him to rotate around the map faster so that he can get more farm. Generally, the jungler will go from the speed buff to the blue buff, then red buff, clearing harpy XP camps along the way. The specific path that the jungler takes often depends on the meta, or most effective tactics available. Oftentimes, the jungler will attack enemy players in the lane in order to gain an advantage over the enemy team. This is also known as ganking. After the laning phase comes the mid game. This usually begins around the 12 to 15 minute mark. During the mid game, the fights get bigger and so do the objectives. One of the main objectives to do during the mid game is the Gold Fury. With ADCs and mages doing more damage and tanks having more defensive items built, it allows the team to be able to successfully destroy the Gold Fury. Killing the Gold Fury grants a large amount of gold and XP to your team. Many times the solo laner will want to push his lane up, then rotate to help his team destroy the Gold Fury. Besides the Gold Fury, the Pyromancer is also an objective that is available for the team to destroy. This objective gives the team gold, XP, and a movement speed buff when leaving the base. Aside from doing these objectives, the team still needs to farm minions and jungle camps to continue to gain XP and gold so that they have a strong late game. The late game is all about setting up the conditions that your team needs to kill the Titan. Generally, this begins around the 20 to 25 minute mark and beyond. At this point in the game, the whole team is generally grouped up and looking to win team fights to kill the fire giant, kill any remaining towers and phoenixes, and kill the Titan. Two of the most important things during the late game are pushing lane minions and killing the fire giant. The fire giant is a powerful boss that grants the team that slays it a powerful buff. This buff gives the team that holds it increased power, health regeneration, and extra damage to towers and phoenixes. Because of this, most teams fight around the fire giant to have an advantage before trying to siege the other team's towers and phoenixes. During these team fights and sieges, typically the solo will try to dive the enemy backline, making opportunity for his jungler to attack with him, while the mid applies high area damage and the ADC kills the phoenix or any tanks diving him, and the support typically defends either the ADC or the mid. Once a phoenix is killed, more powerful fire minions will spawn in that lane until the phoenix respawns. At least one phoenix must be destroyed before the Titan is attackable. Once the Titan is killed, the game is over. With 110 gods in the game and counting, and so many different builds and strategies to try, there are innumerable possibilities for you and your friends in this game. Now go and explore all the possibilities on the battlefield of the gods.